Before this video starts, I just want to say that obviously Battlefront 3 is not announced or probably not going to be announced for a very long time. But recently I made a video about the characters that I would like to see in Battlefront 3, and back then I didn't know, unfortunately, about the news about Battlefront 2 being finished basically with their last content update. But all of a sudden that video fairly did well, like considering for my YouTube channel. So I was thinking about making another or even a few more videos about Battlefront 3. Maybe one day we'll see it. Basically this video is about the planets that I would like to see in the upcoming game. Obviously not the ones that we will most likely see if Battlefront 3 ever comes out, like Tatooine, So anyway, this is going to be the top 5 planets that I would like to see the most, and if this video does well, I might do a top 5 more planets that I would like to see, or just the planets that we will obviously see. Obviously I won't be telling you the exact locations because I don't want to get into the details. I will say where I would like it to be set, but not exactly to the point because I'm not a game designer, so I don't know how all that stuff works. But without further ado, if you like or if you're new here, be sure to subscribe. Finally hit 3k, which is amazing. Maybe one day we'll hit 4k. Anyway, let's get right into it. The first planet I want to start off with is actually Dagobah. Now, if you don't know what Dagobah is, it is the planet where basically in episode 5 and 6, Yoda was vibing. Or if you want better explanation, after the Clone Wars. It's a dark, boggy, swampy planet that obviously had no battles on from as far as I'm aware, and is basically a sacred Jedi area where stuff happens, from also my understanding. Now, all of these planets, some of them will have something to do with the battles, but also I feel like Battlefront 3 should just not concentrate on being canon specifically, just let us have fun. And I feel like Dagobah would be pretty cool if they did a battle area near, for example, Yoda's Hut. Now obviously all of these maps will also have something to do with mainly heroes versus villains or hero showdown. I forgot to mention that because they wouldn't really work on Galactic Assault unless, I don't know, EA DICE did something magic and they made it work. But yeah, Dagobah is one of the numbers. They're not really in order. There is no like, oh, this is the one that I want the most. They're just kind of like not in order. Now the second planet that would be really cool to see in Battlefront 3, if it ever comes out, is Mustafar. Now, if again you do not know what Mustafar is, it is a planet that if you ever watched episode 3 Revenge of the Sith, Mr. Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker were battling on, to the point where all of those beautiful memes of I have the high ground and yada yada have come from. It's also the birthplace, I guess, of Darth Vader, you could say, where he basically got absolutely destroyed, and imagine if you could recreate that in Battlefront 3. Now obviously I don't think we would be fighting in that certain area where all that happened, but at the beginning there's kind of like this weird factory area where I could see the map being like, it would be a cool setting. The whole planet is covered in lava. It will be really tense and really cool in like a heroes versus villains, or even if they ever reintroduce hero showdown situation. Obviously this would not work for Galactic Assault. I guess if they brought back Supremacy or any other of those kind of game modes, I guess it could work for Blast, you know, those smaller map kind of situations. Mustafar would be a really cool addition, probably one of the best with Dagobah. So the third planet that I would like to see is Khorasan. If you don't know what Khorasan is, just like with the other two, it is a planet that we've mainly seen in the prequels, but the ending of episode 6, which was added by George Lucas, and we've also seen a lot of it in the Clone Wars TV show. Khorasan is like the main capital, big city of like the galaxy, whatever you want to call it. The main areas we would really see in Khorasan is just the Jedi Temple that I can think of that they could add. Now, you know, they could do an outside, they could do whatever's below Khorasan, like that really sketchy area. As I said, I'm not going to tell exactly where they should make these maps. It would just be really cool to see this in like a heroes versus villain situation. Again, it wouldn't work in Galactic Assault or Supremacy. It would be really cool to see it because if you look at Clone Wars, we did see some situations where, I don't know, there was that episode with Ahsoka where Asajj Ventress and Ahsoka were around. They could do that area. They could do that weird time. There was that weird Godzilla creature. Very weird time in Clone Wars back then. But there's a lot that they could do and really spice up things. They could do that situation where General Grievous went and got Palpatine just before episode 3 started, and we learned in Clone Wars. So that'd be really cool. They could do that in Galactic Assault. Change it up. Do something fun. Again, as I said, it doesn't always have to be canon. It doesn't always have to make sense. It would just be really fun to see if Battlefront 3 ever comes out. I need to always keep mentioning that because I feel like some people think that Battlefront 3 is coming out. So the fourth planet that I would really like to see is Xago. Now, we've seen this planet in episode 9 at the end or just in general, where Palpatine decides to show up in that movie. And you know what? I don't want to get into the confusion of episode or even the sequels. They're kind of very confusing. I don't know if you remember, but at the end where Rey visits Mr. Palpatine and they have this 1v1 battle where if I'm spoiling this, Kylo also shows up. Now, this map in general could also work for two things. A starfighter assault kind of a thing, you know, the flying game mode. Because that end battle was heavily concentrated on flying. And I guess there was that bit on the spaceship, which also could be a variation of that map. Since in Battlefront 2, we do have kind of like two versions of the planet. So like, for example, on Tatooine, we have Jabba's palace and then that place. I don't remember, but for example, also I guess Geonosis, we have the ship version and the land version and the hives. So they could do that. We could have that ship where they're on top of it at the end, where they were basically trying to destroy those start killing things. Confusing movie, not gonna lie, very confusing. But also for heroes versus villains or hero showdown or whatever they want to reintroduce, it would be pretty amazing with all that lightning, and maybe introduce some cool Easter eggs, like probably one of the best scenes in all of episode 9 when Palpatine decides to bass boost the hell out of the cinema, or just in general if you're watching it at home. I'll never forget that moment. But in general, that would be probably one of the coolest additions. Now, these last two ones, this one and the next one, this is from episode 9 and the other one is from episode 8. Personally, I'm not a fan of episode 8. I'm not the biggest fan of episode 9, but I guess they do have the cool maps that they added, and it's pretty cool, not gonna lie. But yeah, Xago would be amazing. Having those people chanting in the background, fighting in Palpatine's throne, or not on, but around Palpatine's throne. That map in general, or just planet, would be really amazing, and it's amazing in the movie as well. I gotta give it to them. So that's the 4th place, and on to the 5th one, I guess. So the 5th and final planet that I would love to see is Kanto. Now, this one is from The Last Jedi, episode 8. Personally, this area, this scene, this section of the movie where we saw this planet, I don't like it very much. It's probably one of my least favorite parts about the movie, that whole pointless animal cruelty situation we got in Star Wars. Fair enough if we want to raise awareness. Again, okay, I'm gonna stop. I am going off track. This map is different. It feels very different from the Star Wars that we've seen before, but it would be really cool to like fight inside of that casino. I don't know why, but I would love it. It would be definitely something different, and I feel like it would be really pretty. Now again, as I mentioned, it feels very different from Star Wars, but hey, I wouldn't mind fighting in a casino. Definitely haven't seen that in Battlefront before, personally. That's about it. I can't really say anything more since I just want to fight in the casino. Would be kind of cool for Heroes vs Villains. Wouldn't work for anything else really. But that's about it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Now this video is just really fun to make, just talking about the planets that I would like to see. If you're a subscriber and if you've made it this far, I do realize that all of a sudden I'm making a lot of Star Wars videos. I've always been a huge Star Wars fan, but since this situation that we are in the planet, I'm not really enjoying any other games apart from Star Wars Battlefront 2, and all of a sudden we've had a lot of Star Wars stuff dropping, and this news about Battlefront 2 being basically done, hyping up a Battlefront 3, but then again, it's unlikely to happen since EA's contract with Lucasfilm is ending in 2023 or 24. But if you're new here and you agreed with my list in any way, be sure to subscribe. Comment down below any of the other planets you want to see, and maybe I'll make a video on that, on the list that whoever makes it up on the other 5, I guess, or any other. So yeah, thank you very much. Please like if you've enjoyed. If you didn't, well then dislike, or if you didn't, just don't do anything, I guess.